Yeah, that's what we need. Well, it's the, yeah, so we have it as well, so we're not all of us will play. We'll go back and forth to decide how we want to process. But it's like I started breaking down the spreadsheet in order that needs to be done in order to get to it. Because we're going to get together ourselves and put together a proposal that's going to tell me or the various around. So I'll probably do. I mean, if it was a risk, certainly not going to help, because for the example of, we know that, but in that situation where. Yeah. However, no, you know, we're the last one to have. I know what this is. They know they have to. So we'll see.
Today, very tired. Do we want to give it a couple minutes with the traffic? Yeah. People are gonna be late. Yeah. We're gonna spend an hour and a half talking over stuff before she tried to reach it to me.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm good, how you doing?
Is that a name?
How are you?
Oh, okay. Have we said okay?
I'm just okay.
Oh, well.
Dinner?
A little bit.
Dinner.
Then, oh yes, I heard it before. Yeah, good, so. I'm trying to get closer so I can hear it. I'm old and my hearing isn't good. Military room that. This is unusually small, usually there's more people here, right?
There was a really, really bad accident, traffic accident on 29th South, which could be affecting people coming here.
There should be more coming.
Usually there is, but sometimes with weather, there's not a lot. I mean, we haven't had this issue lately.
The traffic, but the accident might be slowing people down. That might be a few.
Yeah, the gates and it's what. So, maybe because, Aksha, Yored, Kish, Shellen?
I don't, it's not the snow, no, I think there's a really bad accident that's causing a lot of traffic.
There is a huge, I got stuck in it.
Yeah.
There was a huge traffic accident on 29
I was
South.
going home and I heard fire engine after fire.
Yes, there's like at least 15 emergency vehicles there. The left two lanes are completely blocked. There's debris everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
things are-
glass, So, yeah, there's
So-
only one lane open, not even.
Right, so people are probably on their way, but it's taking longer than they usually take to get here. So we're giving it a few minutes before we start in case,
Thank you, I wondered
More
what had
people.
happened, you know, I could see them
yeah.
fire engines.
I couldn't see it looked like the car was in, there was people searching in like the wooded area there. And the guardrail was completely smashed in, so it was something bad.
People drive too quickly,
Yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes they yell out the window, get moving, you know,
sorry, to the people online, we're starting a little bit later because there's a really big traffic accident on 29 South, where the two left lanes are completely blocked.
so a lot of regulars who
So we might be waiting on some regulars for a few more minutes.
we're not quite there with a minion yet. and Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully we will if we give it a few minutes, so.
all I can say is, Ani, Samaya, we healed our son.
Yep, it's a good thing.
This guy, but it fell out. Did I say it right?
Yep,
I wanna go back.
yep.
Easy, Opie. Oh, okay. I'm not doing house horror again for a while.
On this wall. It's kasha. Well.
I don't speak Hebrew well enough to be your practice person.
What?
I don't speak Hebrew well enough to be your practice person. It's easier if you just, don't worry about trying to translate to Hebrew.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to put my parents on.
What? When do we want to call it, like 5, 10 minutes?
Like 3 minutes.
3 more minutes, yeah. Are there usual suspects in there? Just me, or yeah? Frank?
Pictures of China, Burma,
No, I know that. And
Japan, my uncle was in the Army Air Corps in World War II. So, he brought back all kinds of pictures of that, made me want to learn. Not like a normal thing. So that makes it the most difficult. Add everything in. You know, Chinese influences Japanese, I'm studying Korean now, but just because my wife is suffering from Alzheimer's and the doctor said, if you study a difficult language, and you can say difficult, but study a language enthusiastically, like every day, then it will help you push off dementia in people.
Here's your parents.
okay, I think that makes time once they and because I saw Helene Tyler also walking. That's why we, delete it. All right.
I know, because I'm old.
Now that we've at least managed to have a minion actually arrive in the building, thanks for patience for those online. As Canner App mentioned, there was a pretty bad accident on 29, so we knew traffic was delaying arrival of people coming in person, so we figured give it a few minutes. It's Shabbat, nice time to be a little leisurely, but thank you again for your patience, and now we'll go ahead and welcome in the Angels of Shabbat with Shalom Aleichem, which we can find as the third entry on page 5 of Siddur Lev Shalim.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Turn to L'chu Niranina, which opens on page 11, will open, and then we'll continue individually to pick up at the caret on page 12.
L'chu Niranina, L'Adonai, Nariya Litzor Hishenu, Nikadma Fanav Bitoda, Bizmiro Nariya Lo, Nikadma Fanav Bitoda, Bizmiro Nariya Lo. Ki El Gadol Adonai Umelech Gadol Al Kol Elohim Asher Biado Mekirei Haaretz V'toafot Harim Lo Asher Biado Mekirei Haaretz V'toafot Harim Lo. Arba'im shana kud bedor, v'omaram to'ei levavhem, v'heim lo yadu derachai, asher nishbati ve'api, im yevun el menuchati.
Continue on at page 11, where we'll open the psalm and continue to the caret on page 14.
Shilonai, 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 kolaresh. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, ותגל הארץ.
Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, lo. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, lo.
יעלו שרי וכל אשר בו, עד שירננו כל הצייר, לפני אדוני קיווה לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, ואמין באמונתו.
We'll rise as we turn to Mizmor LeDavid, page 21.
מזמור לדוד, הבו לאדוני בני אלים, הבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז, הבו לאדוני עוד שמו, השתחוו לאדוני בהר הקודש, כל אדוני
המים אל הכבוד הרים, אדוני על מים רבים, כל אדוני בכוח, כל אדוני בהדר, כל אדוני שובר ארזים, וישבר אדוני את ארזי הלבנון, וירקידם כמו עגל לבנון וסיריון, כמו בין רעמים. כל אדוני חוצה לחלוטש, כל אדוני יחיל מדבר, יחיל אדוני מדבר קדש, כל אדוני יכול אל איילות, ויחשוף יערות, ובהיכלו כולו מרכבות, כולו אומר כבוד. אדוני למה בו ישב, וישב אדוני מלך לעולם, אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. You can be seated as we turn to Lecha Dodi. We'll open with the first 3 stanzas on page 23 and jump to the final 2 on page 25.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד לשם ותפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם, נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה, קומיסי מתוך ההפכה, רב לך שבט בעמק הבכה, והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
25.
ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני תריצי על יד איש, בית פרצי ונשמחה ונגילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובתורה תוך אמוני עם
segula, boichala, boichala, lechadodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabelam. Be seated. We turn to the Psalm for Shabbat, which begins on page 27, where we'll open and continues to the carrot on page 28.
Mizmor shir liyom Shabbat. Tzadik tamar yifrach ke'erez balanon yizkeh shetulim bebeit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu. O Genuvun Beseva, Desheni Merananim, Iyu Lehagid, Ki Yashar Adonai, Tzuri, Velo Avatavo.
Turn now to Kaddish Yatom on page 30, the Mourner's Kaddish separating Kabbalat Shabbat from Mariv. Here I'll invite any who are observing a yard site or who are in mourning, or any for whom it's your custom to do so, to rise on page. We turn to Kaddish Yatom, page 30. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah be'alma divra chirutei ve'amlich malchutei V'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam umei amaya. Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh ve'yitadar ve'yitaleh ve'yitalal shmei dekudesha berechu. Le'ela minkol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Let us all please rise. We turn to the Baruch Hu on page 39a.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Be seated. Continue with the blessing of bottom page 39a or b.
Umavir yomu mevi laila, umavdil ben yomu vein laila, Adonai tzevaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, Tamidim l'chalenu le'olam ba'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Amari v'aravim.
Turn to Ahavat Olam on page 40, which will prepare us for the Shema and its paragraphs on pages 41 and 42, in exchange of God's love for us with the tradition and our love for God and the Shema, page 40 through 42.
Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, amachavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta, al kein Adonai Eloheinu, ושוכבנו וקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ואורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה, יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננת לבניך, ודיברת בם, ושיתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו הטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. Adonai Elohechem emetu.
Continue individually on page 43A or B, and we'll resume together on page 44.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה מרים ובני ישראל לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך אלוהים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא תהילות עושה פלא מלכותך ראו בניך בוקי הים לפני משה זה אלי אנו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כיבד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Turn to Ashkivenu, page 45, as we pray for a shelter of peace.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Lahamidenu Malkeinu lechayim Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Lahamidenu Malkeinu lechayim. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ושלום מעתה ועד עולם ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
We'll rise for Vishamru, page 46.
Veshameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת וינפש יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה ויעמד דברך ירותי וימליך מלכותי וחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ועלמיים יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו לילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן.
Remain standing for individual Amidah, which begins on page 47 and runs through page 52. I invite you to use the Hebrew or the English and with the words of your own heart, page 47 through 52. You're still davening, so praying your individual evening Amidah, please, by all means, continue to do so. Otherwise, I'll invite us to please rise once again as we turn to the Me'en Sheva, symbolic repetition of the themes of our Amidah, which begins with Vayachulu at the top of page 53.
ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון הקודש אלוהים הארץ מגן אבות בדברו וחיי מתים במאמרו האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו המניח ליבוא ביום שבת קודשו כי בם רצה להניח להם לפניו נעבוד ביראה ופחד ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד ועוד הברכות אל ההודעות אדון השלום מקדיש השבת ומברך שביעי ומניח בקדושה לעמדו שני עונג זכר למעשה בראשית.
Page 54.
אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו רצה במנוחתנו קדשנו במצוותיך ותן חלקנו בתורתך צווינו מטובך ושמחנו בישועתך ותהל ליבנו לעבדך באמת וינחילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה וברצון שבת קודשך וינוחו בישראל מקדשי שמך ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Continue with Kaddish Shalem on page 54. You're welcome to remain standing or be seated according to your custom.
יקרא ויקדש שמי רבה, ואמר יברכו ומלך מלכותי, וחי יכולים ומחנוכי לכל בית ישראל, בגלה בזמן קריבים רבים. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם לעולם יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם וינשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי קודשה. ברכו לילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תשבחתה ונחמתה, דמנה בעמדים רבים. תגבלת אותנו ועל תוכן תוכל ישראל, כל דם ולחן דיבי שמיה ועם רבים. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועם רבים. ועושה שלום במרומיו, והוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו Amen.
Welcome to be seated. Tonight I want to share, the board members got a taste of this already. So apologies to a handful of board members who were at the meeting on Wednesday and here tonight. But I want to share with us the unheard origin story of Hanukkah. So we've all heard the version of Judah the Maccabee and his brothers rising up to defeat the invading empire who had taken over and destroyed the temple, right? And they win the war and they can take back the temple and they light the oil that should only have been enough for 1 day and it lasts for 8, right? That's the story, that's the origin story of Hanukkah, right? And the debate is which is the miracle, right? Which miracle is it? That they won the war or that the light lasted? And that's what people debate, like which one's the miracle? Would you believe me if I told you that the rabbis said that Adam Harishon, the very first human being, celebrated Hanukkah? I'm seeing shaking heads. It does not make sense historically, right? How would Adam HaRishon, who lived through year 1 by our Jewish calendar, we're now in year 5,785, right? That's supposed to have been counting the years since creation. The first human being lived through year 1. This whole thing with Judah the Maccabees and the fighting in the temple, that doesn't take place for centuries from Adam, right? Huh? Millennia after. Well, a millennium after. Yeah, millennia, fine. Too many different sets of years. Yes, millennia after. Except the rabbis say Adam HaRishon had his own version of Hanukkah. It wasn't about the rededication of the temple that was nowhere near existing yet from his perspective, but was instead about a fear of darkness and the ability to bring in light. So you might remember from my Yom Kippur sermon, there was a different midrash that said on the very first day of Adam's life, and the first time that he was experiencing sunset, dusk, and darkness, he panicked, right? So remember that he panicked, he starts crying, he's sitting, and Eve comes and just sits with him and cries all night. So clearly Adam is afraid of the dark. And as he wakes up the next morning, from what I shared on Yom Kippur, he seems okay. He's like, okay, the light comes back. Maybe this is just how it goes. But then he notices, as the year wears on, that the darkness seems to come earlier in the day. And it seems to last longer. So he starts to fear again. Perhaps he did something wrong. And in year 1, says this midrash, as the days seem to be getting to the peak darkness and earliest sunsets, he decided to start praying and fasting. And he did it for 8 days, and it started to turn around. And the darkness started to come ever so slightly later, and ever so slightly later, and ever so slightly later. And he thought it was because of his prayers and his fasting. Year 2 comes around, and he notices the same thing seems to be happening. Gets to a certain point of the year, and the darkness seems to creep up and start earlier and earlier and earlier and last longer and longer and longer. And he says, so this must be the way of the world. And instead of praying and fasting, he just creates light. He lights whatever form of candle he might have had in year 2. He just makes a fire, and he just makes light for those last 8 days approaching the winter solstice, approaching the beginning of the Hebrew month of Tevet, which is the Rosh Chodesh that falls in the middle of Hanukkah. And so he creates light. And so I think what the rabbis teach us with this midrash is that the story of the origin of Hanukkah and the rededication of the temple and the ability to endure and to maintain our identity is tremendously important, as is the reminder that sometimes we face the reasons that was so important. Sometimes we face darkness. And darkness will happen to us in life. Sometimes because it's simply the cycle of the calendar, and sometimes because of randomness. But darkness will happen, and what we can do is prepare for it and bring in light, and to add light to the world. And so as we approach the start of Hanukkah, I invite us all to, as we add a little bit of light at a time. Our first candle will be on Wednesday night. There'll be other traditions around us celebrating as well. And we'll add a little bit of light on that first night, and a little bit more the next light, and a little bit more the next night. And I hope that as we move through Hanukkah, we can find the ways not only to be adding the lights to our Chanukiot, to our menorahs in our windows, but look for the ways that we can add a little bit of light and a little bit more each day into the world around us, or even just adding a little bit of light into our own hearts. May we have a Chanukah Sameach, and for now, a Shabbat Shalom as we prepare for that. Invite us to rise once again as we'll turn to our Kiddush, which we can find on page 55.
Savri Chaverai,
Chai.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzav banu v'shabbat kodsho v'yahava u'ratzon hinechi lanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila le'mikrei kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim kivanu v'charta ve'otanu kidasha mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava u'ratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Remain standing for Aleinu, page 56, onto page 57.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateit gedula liyotzeh reshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu koyim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, Livnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehu notei shamayim ve'yosed haaretz U'moshav yikaro b'shamayim imahal U'shchinatu zo ve'govhei meromim U'Eloheinu einod Emes malkeinu efesu lato kakatu b'torato be'adatayom v'hashivota el levavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim b'shamayim himal ve'al haaretz mitachat einon einon. Katu b'toratecha Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed
V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Be seated. As we turn to the Kaddish Yatom, to the mourner's Kaddish, we ask that God grant that the memories of those who have gone before us be a source of strength for us and for everyone in the house of Israel. May the souls of our departed find peace in God's sheltering care, and may we all be blessed with peace, tranquility, and the fullness of life. This week, as congregation, remember the yahrzeits of Barbara Hurwitz, Jack Lippener, David Greenspan, and Eugene Schmelzer. Invite all who are in mourning or observing yahrzeits, or any for whom it is your custom to do so, to rise. We turn to the Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, page 58. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei ve'amlich malchutei, B'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam umei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudesha berechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates peace in the heavens grant peace to us, to all Israel, and to all who mourn. You can be seated. It's my pleasure this evening to call on the co-chair of our Social Action Committee from our board, Abby Glassberg, who will share some announcements with us this evening. Sure.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you for everyone who has joined us online and in person. Thank you to Marianne and Ann, Ada, and Frankie for helping with the ONEG tonight. Shalom is the sponsor of the ONEG, which will be taking place in Classroom C. And then join us tomorrow morning as we call David Gerber to the Torah as a bat mitzvah. Tomorrow, Rabbi Greenspan is leading Torah study after the Kiddush. This Sunday, December 22nd, there'll be no religious school or Hebrew high school. With Hanukkah fast approaching, we'd like to remind you to check out our Judaica shop, which has wonderful selection of items for Hanukkah, Shabbat, and other holidays for your home. Upcoming Hanukkah programs and events include tomorrow night, there'll be a Hanukkah craft and sip party with vodka and latkes led by Rabbi Greenspan at 7:30. And then our first night of Hanukkah pop-up party is on December 25th at 5 p.m. Also on December 26th at 6 o'clock, we will be visiting the residents of Harmony Hall to sing Hanukkah songs and light the menorah. And we'd love everyone to join us. All religious students are expected to attend, and Beth Shalom congregants are welcome to attend also. And last but not least, the Chosen Meeples meet again after services on December 28th. Our next Mahjong session will be on Sunday, January 5th from 2 to 4 at Beth Shalom. This group is geared up towards beginners and advanced beginners. If you've never played, haven't played much, or generally don't feel confident playing at the pace of more experienced players, please join us. There will always be a beginner's table. Please RSVP to Marianne Newkirk by January 3rd if you plan to attend. And you can always check out these and other programs on our website at www.beshalom.net. And after Shabbat, take a moment to follow and like, Beth Shalom on Facebook, Instagram, and share with your friends and networks. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Tomorrow night should be fun for any who want to join me. And I think on January 5th in the evening, also Adult Ed will be having the next in their Israel speaker series, and we'll have a guest who is a former, I forget his role in the, but someone who has had experience in the higher up ranks of the Israel Defense Forces. I can't remember the exact details. I'm surprised it didn't make these announcements, but that will be also on the evening of Sunday, January 5th. So you're welcome to join us for that as well. And for now, we can conclude the service with Yigdal, page 62.
Yigdal Elohim Chai ve'yishtabach Yimtzayin et el metziuto Echad v'im yachid ke'ichudo Le'lam v'gam sof le'achduto Ein lo dmut haguf ve'ein al-guf Lo naroch elav kedushato Kan molachot davar asher nivra Rishon v'rishit v'rishito Hino Adon olam v'chol notzar Yoreg gedulato u'malchuto Shefa nevuato netano El anshe segulato v'tifarto לא קם ישראל כמו שעוד, נביא ומביט את תמונתו, תורת אמת נתן לעמו אל, על יד נביאו נאמן ביתו, לא יחליף האל ולא ימיר דתו, לעולמים לזולתו, צופה ויודע סתרנו, מביט לסוף דבר קדמתו, גומל איש חסד כמפעלו, נותן לרשע רע כרשעתו, ישלח לקץ ימים משיחנו, לדום לחקק את ישועתו, מתים יחייל ברוך חסדו, ברוך הדיין שם תהילתו, מתים יחייל ברוך חסדו, ברוך הדיין שם תהילתו.
Shabbat Shalom. See everybody in the room and on the Zoom, and we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning or next week, and a Chanukah